We are going to be learning how to use Power BI and what exactly is Power BI. So let us get started. So let's start with looking at the Microsoft training that is available on their site for Power BI. So essentially, Power BI is nothing more than a way for you to showcase your data in a nice format. Imagine having millions of records. How can you show that to a leadership, to a CEO of a company? A CEO of a company is not gonna look into millions of record of data. Rather, a simple visualization will help them understand what exactly is going on with the data, which will help them to actually make good data, business-driven decisions. So here you see a visual of a data set that showcases different kinds of data that tells different story. For example, how many total stores are there? What was the year sale? Looking at by chain. New stores, how many new stores were open till date? Then it breaks down into different kinds of charts, visualizations, which showcase a bubble graph, a data set, a bar graph, a map. So let's go down. A data set is the critical aspect of any visualization. Visualization shows you the picture, but the data is the underlying foundation, which has the attributes around particular data set. After that gets translated into a story which is told through the visualization. Reports. Essentially, Power BI is generating different kinds of reports with different kinds of filters to allow the user to showcase their story of data better. So as you can see, there's a bar graph, there's a line graph, there's a chart. So what we're going to do now is we are going to play around with a real example of students affected by COVID-19 school closure. So this is some example that has been given by Microsoft. So what happens when I click on this chart? What shows low income, high income, and lower middle income? So let's say I click on primary. So as you can see, when I click on primary, the focus goes to primary. And then there's different kinds of clicking I can do depending on what kind of data set I want to see. Then comes affected students by income level, lower middle income, which is 0.72 billion. Now, as you can see, if you click on this, everything goes back to normal. What happens if I click on high income? So you see how the data on the chart becomes extremely specific to the high income because that is what I want to see. Then it shows affected students by region, East Asia, South Asia. Let's focus on South Asia. So when I click on South Asia, see how things change within the chart. It's telling me the story of exactly what happened, how South Asian students were affected by COVID-19 school closures. Now, if you guys look at the data, total students are reaching over 1 billion, which showcases different data set points through visualization. It shows you a chart for various income level. Then it gets to the bar graph. Then it shows a line chart type, which is more like a slider, status by countries, then affected students by region. So this is an example that was actually on the Microsoft website, which I thought was really good to show visualization. So now we're going to create an actual report using the master data. The master data consists of customer ID, customer name, dates, net sales, customer information, product information, profit loss information, salesman information, shipment information. So let's get started. So let's start first with the title. So let's say we're going to call this sales summary. So here I am putting it sales summary. I am going to make it colorful blue. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a visualization. So these are the different kinds of visualizations that are available. we're going to be using different kinds. So here, what I am using is a multi-card to show the net sales. So as you can see now, once I put in the field net sales, all of the net sales are being shown here. So that this is net sales. And if you want to format this, you can also format it to like have a different color, let's say blue. And here you have the visualization, but here you have format your visual. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add another visualization. Let's say we're going to add one stacked column. Let's go here. Let's expand it out. Okay, for the stacked column, you need to have an x-axis, y-axis, and a legend. So let's try to play around to see what works better. What happens when we have x-axis as product and y-axis as something to do with sales, net sales? Okay, so this on the bottom, we have the product information, and on the top, we have... Actually, we have to replace that with product because first we had the product ID. The product ID is actually unique value. So let's not keep that. Let's just have it as product. So here you can see product. Okay, so this is one visualization. Now again, you can format this to show different kinds of effects. Here you can color code this. This one is just good with white. You can add a title. Let's say net sales by product. Let's bold it. Let's make it a little blue. And what else am I thinking we can do? I think this looks good. Now let's add another visual. This time let's play with the donut chart. So you see how I have added a donut chart here? What can we represent with the donut chart? How about we represent profit and loss? Let's see how that comes along. Okay, profit. Now I don't think this is telling the story well. How about we do it by region? So if we want to do the donut chart, we need to have some kind of a data set that really like shows it in a better visual. So here it's showing middle northwest. How about we do this? So we can do product by region. But you can see, and I have added here, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to play around with the title because the title is just doesn't make sense count of product. It rather should be product by regions. And let's color code this to blue. Actually what I'm thinking is then maybe what we can do is we can have a different background, maybe something that's light, but not too light so we can see the other things too. Yep, yellow is fine. And let's go back. Let's change this to blue. Okay, so we have the visualization here. Now let's play with something else. Let's create a pie chart. So a pie chart is similar to a donut chart, but they are essentially two different charts. So now let us play around with maybe number of customers by region. Let's see how that comes along. So yeah, here, let's see. So this is giving us customers by region, and the first one was product by region. What do you guys think? I think this looks good. Okay, so go to chat title, like customers by region. Let's make it blue. Maybe we can try to add another background color as well. Efforts. Okay, let's do purple, no, pink. Even this like too out there, but I'll just go with then. Alright, let's add another visualization. Let's try something different that we haven't done. So there are different kinds of visualization. There's this metrics, there's this clustered board chart, but it all depends like what kind of visual, what kind of story you're trying to tell. Based on our data set, we're playing around to really see what kind of a sales summary we can tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this stacked board chart. I'm going to put it here like this. And what should the story say? So how about we try to play around a little bit? What if we do net sales by product? How will that come along? Okay, it's just, about redo it this way. Product 1, product 2, product 3, and then summary of net sales. Okay, because this one was net sales per product, this is also net sales per product, so it wouldn't make sense. How about we get the customer here? Let's see how that comes along. Okay, so how about we try this? No. So a lot of time with visualization, you have to play around to see what works better and what really tells the story the right way. So let's try to do maybe sales by year. Okay, so this is a better data set. It tells us what happened in 2020, 2023, 2024. So I think I'll stick with this one. I'm gonna go to title. I'm gonna say net sales by a year. And what I want to do is I want to definitely change the heading. Maybe make it blue. Properties. Yeah, you can change any property sign you want. Here, let's go to effects and also add a visual border for this one. And let's make the visual border blue. And let's change the color of this to, right now it's like white, but maybe we can make it a little gray in the background. I think that would help. Yep, like this. The essentially is white, but the gray background is showing a little bit more. Let me just fit this to size. Like this. Okay, so you guys see like before and after. And what I really wanted to emphasize is that when you're creating a report, it should show different kind of data visualization so the story can be told well. The story essentially is what the data is telling you. What should someone interpret from the data? Because no one has the time to go over millions of records. This data visualization tells the story in a simple format. So hope this was helpful.